Ladies and gentlemen,
We're about to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, George Whittam.
Hey, this is George Whittam. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Whittam's World. I've kind of been off my regular schedule for the last month between traveling, being really busy, and being sick, which I'm almost not sick anymore, but still a little sick. I've kind of fallen behind, so I apologize. Here I am, I'm back, and I'm ready to tackle the questions again. This week's question came in from Tim McKean, and it's a great one, and I'm definitely happy he sent it in because it's something I actually wanted to talk about. Timothy asks, I have a question about vocal booths. I'm an audiobook narrator and need to add a vocal booth to my home studio setup. I've learned a lot from you about acoustic treatment, and my studio sounds great, but only after everyone else goes to bed and the house is quiet. Unfortunately, I have a very tight budget of $1,500 to $2,000, I'm assuming US dollars, for my vocal booth. I know that vocalbooth.com, Whisper Room, and Studio Bricks are the top of the line, but they really start out around $4,000. I purchased some plans to build my own booth from dollbox.com, but I'm getting nervous about the task of building my own booth. What are your thoughts or suggestions on building or buying vocal booths? Great question. I will be happy to give you my 2 cents on that topic. The brands you mentioned are all some of the usual suspects in the world of isolation booths that are prefabricated, meaning that they come broken down, sort of like, well, imagine ordering a piece of IKEA furniture, broken down in a cardboard box. It comes, all the pieces are in there, and there's instructions, and you assemble it. Now, this is like a really big, really heavy piece of IKEA furniture, but it's the same basic idea. So I think one major criteria that you might consider between going the do-it-yourself or the prefab is, one, resale value. Do you feel that this is going to be a long-term solution that you're going to be keeping and using for many years to come? If so, who cares about resale value? You're going to make the money back that you spent building the booth, and not a big deal because you'll make the money back again. So don't worry about the resale value in that case. However, if you might have to move soon, your living situation might change, you're in a rental, you don't own your space, then in those cases, I heavily lean towards the prefab solution because of the aforementioned resale value. You can take that thing later, put it on Craigslist, and get back a big chunk of what you paid for it. And that takes me to number 2. Did you consider buying one used? Now, depending on where you're located, it may be kind of hard to find one used. If you're in a major metropolitan area like Los Angeles, that's not so hard to find one used. But in other parts of the country, it might be a lot harder. If you do find one used, again, resale value. These things, once you buy one used, don't really lose value. So you could buy a used Whisper Room 3.5 by 5 foot booth for maybe $3,000. And then, in a year or 2 or 3, it's still probably going to be worth $3,000. Not a bad investment. You can flip it around later if you need to. Downsize, upsize, move, who knows what your situation might be. So that's another consideration to think about. The third thing that you want to consider is time. Do you have the time to build a booth? Time can be a real factor. Do you have the lead time? Do you have a project coming that you need to have the booth ready for so that you can start that project? Or are you midst project right now? You said you're an audiobook narrator. Are you pounding out a book a month? Are you missing jobs because you don't have this booth? These are things you have to ask yourself. So if time is of the essence, do not build your own booth. This Dollbox booth is going to take you considerable amount of time to build, especially build it correctly. It's going to take several weekends unless you get all your builder buddies together that have all the tools and you have everything you need. And then maybe with absolute diligence, you could have one built in one weekend. But everybody I know that's built one of these, it's taken them far longer than they ever expected. And, sometimes on the order of months if you're only being able to do it a few hours each weekend. So keep that in mind. Time is going to be of the essence in some cases, so don't go build it yourself. If you can get a whisper room locally used, that's obviously very quick. Even if you buy a whisper room or vocal booth, you're going to be able to get one shipped to you usually within a week to 2 weeks from the date that you order it. The only real exception I would say would be studio bricks, which are shipped from overseas. So you might be talking 1 to 2 months a wait time. So that one kind of breaks the mold there a little bit. Number 4 criteria would be is how good are you at building stuff? And if you're not good at building stuff, do you have really close friends that owe you something that are going to help you build this? Because it's quite a project. And the doll box plans, I'm not going to disparage them because I don't think I could do any better, because I'm not a good technical drawer, and I don't know how to be an architect. I couldn't probably design great plans. But what I will say is that they are not the best plans. And so you end up having to improvise a lot. There's a lot of things where you have to fill in the blank, and they kind of leave certain details out that are really important that end up, if you do it wrong, you'll have to redo those steps in the process again. So again, wasting a huge amount of time. And it takes a lot of space to build it. It's dirty, it's noisy, all those things you have to consider. So again, it may not be the best solution for you if those factors are going to be a problem. 5 comes down to acoustical treatment. None of these booths have great acoustical treatment. They pretty much all come with a layer of 2-inch thick acoustic foam that cover part of the walls or all of the walls. And that's pretty much it. The doll box, they're going to tell you to you guys go buy some foam. If you do it yourself, you can then buy the best acoustical treatment that you can afford, and put what I consider to be the best acoustic treatment around, which are panels made out of Ultra Touch denim or a Roxol AFB. And if you get panels made with those, such as one company makes them called ATS Acoustics.com, you'll be able to tune the booth beautifully. But some of these booths they have the foam pre-glued to the walls, like the Vocal Booth brand. So that ends up getting in the way and making it more challenging to then properly acoustically tune the booth later. Other booths, the studio bricks, the whisper room, they don't have the foam pre-attached. So you have the ability to put the proper acoustic treatment in from the get-go. But I'll say again, none of the companies I'm talking about here, none of them have adequate acoustical treatment out of the box. They all need to have it supplemented. So, keep that in mind. No matter what one you go with, you're going to have issues there. Those are the things you're going to want to think about. Consider all options and consider all of those different topics so that you can make the best decision for your situation. And I hope you did find that to be helpful. So again, if you want to submit your question to the show, I'd be happy to answer it. You can send it to whittamsworld@edgestudio.com. And if you'd like one-on-one consulting or have your question answered in a private forum or schedule time, or get your situation dealt with in a timely fashion, you definitely want to book time with me, and you're going to go do that over on bostudiotech.com, and I've got all sorts of different ways that we can work together over there. So thanks again for the question. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe and click like down below if you liked the video today, and leave comments. I tune in from time to time and check comments and answer questions. All right, have a great one, everybody. Till next time, I'm George Whittam from Whittam's World.